if you could, give me a 5x5. Let me know when we're up. It is Wednesday night, SFMF Live. We were just on Sunday. Whoever was with us Sunday, yes, we're working on that live. It'll be uploaded soon, I promise. Wait, do I promise?
Yes.
It'll be out soon. We had a great show Sunday. It was a damn good show. That'll be out Sunday. Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday night. Busy week already, and we are moving into, it is Wednesday, Easter Sunday coming up. It's going to be a busy weekend. Good Friday, then Easter Sunday. Really looking forward to that. We're doing stuff with the church on Friday and Sunday. But for now, welcome, and let's hit it. A couple good topics tonight. One is the last two shorts that we did. We're going to discuss that very shortly, and it might hit home for a lot of you. Teenagers. It's the end of the year. It's coming up to making those big decisions. What are you going to do? What are you going to do after high school? All right. Walking Tall reporting as ordered. All right. Walking Tall, good to see you. Doc, producer, thank you for the stickers. Awesome. You got them? All good with Doc. You got the stickers. Did everyone who asked for the stickers, members, that's a members thing, did you get your stickers? Bryce Wilborg is here. Are you trying to be short with us? Is that a real question? Is it because I'm short right now? Semper Fi, Bryce, good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Again, Wednesday night, SFMF Live. What are you drinking? Wow, that just came out. That's blazing hot. From one doc to another, please keep me in your thoughts. My brothers lost their mom today. Prayers to your brothers, your real brothers. Prayers up to any family member that needs that today and every single day. That's what we do here. That's why we're here for each other. Lay Cookie. What's up, brother? Good to see you on here. It's Wednesday. Are you on your way home from work? Another hard, solid day's work. Jordan Hammond. Hey, SFMF, I'm glad that is Easter on Sunday because Jesus has risen indeed and came off the cross to save all people so we can love us all. All right. Arkansas, I got you. It's talking about shorts. I'm not going to get short with anyone, but we are going to talk about some shorts. Sam, greetings, Sergeant. Is wondering if through the course of your career did the MESEP program interest you? Great question, Sam. So again, we're going to talk about enlisting, the first, making that big decision here shortly. And I have talked about that, and I will again tonight. Sam, if I don't hit it, come back up. We're getting everybody just a chance to get on and start cooking. Still at work, lay cookie. Drive home, then start to work in the shop. All right. Thanks, Alexander. That's a compliment. A little bit. I try. Do you work out? Randall Knapp. All roids. Doc says it right there. There you go. All roids. Favorite snack? Roids. Protein. Protein all the way. Salute to Max Carlson. 15 April, 62. Discharged honorably, El Toro. Walked home to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Arrived 4 April. All right. Walking time. When I get to heaven, say, Peter's I will tell another Marine reporting, sir, I've done my time in hell. Arrived. Yeah. Apologies, Sergeant Major. On the road, we'll be listening in. For Lima Charlie. All right, Heavy J. Good to see you. Ash, drone instructor. Am I related to Joe Rogan? I wish I was so he can give me some of his money.
Stop.
I mean, so we can be homies. We don't believe in PT. We live it. Yeah, Doc. Hot Rod checking in. What's up, brother? Yes, it's going to come out soon. Hot Rod was with us last Sunday. It'll be out, editing and downloading. It will be not live, but it will be posted shortly. Kimi Coco Post is here. All right, that's CC number 1, so we can get started. Hi, Kimi. Bubba, who this? Good evening. Sergeant Major from New York City. I'm reporting for duty. Who's that? The Papa Smurf. What's up? Papa Smurf, the OG. Dan, got you. Veterans for Trump. Buy a new neck. Again, another compliment. All right. You guys are on it tonight. Hello from Fort Leonard Wood. All right. Fort Leonard Wood, Army base. Heavy J, trying to enlist, but I don't know how to get my RETS record to the recruiter. Too long a story. All right, Heavy J, there we go. We're going to kick it off right now with Heavy J and that particular statement right there. So, the last couple of shorts were, one, why did you choose Marine? Right? Was that, I don't remember the title of it, but was what made you choose Marine? And a quick, easy answer, and the comments were great. Chose Marine Corps so I can talk trash the rest of my life. Once a Marine, always a Marine. All that. And I've told my story before. Again, the Marine recruiter was the first one I met. Actually, he met me, sought me out in high school, talked to some other kids, talked to the teachers. They're like, go find that Cece guy. In fact, that's him right there. Snatch him up because he needs some help. He needs some direction. He needs some purpose that probably only you can provide. Right? Young Marine Sergeant McBain, era, was my recruiter. I had no intentions on enlisting in anywhere. I didn't even know the difference between the services, what the recruiter was or did. This was, there was nothing going on, no war going on. Still got to make their quotas. So he did. The Marine recruiter sought me out, talked to him like one time during the middle of the day, and was embarrassed that he even knew my name and came up talking to me. So I kind of gaffed him, right? Wanted to be cool in front of my friends. And they're like, hey, bro, that Marine dude is looking for you. There he is. So I avoided him a couple times, right? Then he came back probably a couple weeks later. I don't remember how long. And one of my teacher's son, he was talking to the recruiter. And apparently her and him, my English teacher and her son were like, yeah, we did get this guy, Cece. He was already sold. He was already brainwashed. He knew he was going to enlist. I don't think he enlisted yet. I think we were juniors. Was this my junior year? So anyhow, long story short, the very next year, he started working on me again, early. My English teacher's son enlisted. She signed for him. He was gone. We were 17. So he started working on me. Working and working. Even took me down to the recruiting station once or twice. The first time I went with the buddy and sat on the couch, watched one of the, whatever video was on of Marine 8th and 9, dressed blues, and they're marching, flipping rifles. Looked pretty cool, but I wasn't interested at all. He was in the back, my buddy, probably signing contract after contract or page after page, going through some stuff, talking about Poolee meetings. Still, I was oblivious to what was going on, except I started looking at the stuff on the wall, like kind of listening to him. Some old gunny came in at one time. What are you doing? Get your feet off my furniture. And I was like, yeah, I'm just waiting on my friend. And then like the second or third visit, the recruiter would come get me. He's like, bro, look, come with me. Just hang out at the office. I got some stuff to do. You get out of school, right? I'll sign you out so you don't have to fake a note from your mom. Just come with me. So I did. And as he's working on my buddy, they're signing some more stuff. He just kept looking at me like, man, I see you got that 1,000-mile stare going on right now. I'm like, I almost fell asleep. But something was clicking inside of me. I was listening. All that stuff was, the last minute the recruiter said, straight to my face, he's like, nah, never mind. You don't have what it takes anyway. And that was his hook, right? What do you mean? I'm that young kid with the ego. What do you mean I don't have what it takes? You probably can't even do a pull-up. And I was a football team. I was a guy. I was a moto in the gym and stuff. So I said, yeah, I could. If he can do something, I can do something. So my buddy did. I don't remember how many I got on the bar. I did some. He's like, oh, wow, okay. Now I'm a little impressed. But still, you don't have what it takes mentally. Oh, yeah? Yeah, I do. Right? He totally get me in all those areas that tested my manhood, right? And then the very last visit, again, he came to school. He came and picked us up. There was something going on at the recruiting station. We get there and there's a big barbecue and a whole bunch of people, a bunch of Poolees are all wearing that shirt, and everyone was just super moto. Come back tomorrow. We got a softball game going on. There'll be some more barbecue. So they got me, right? They got me. He hooked me. Ended up signing 11 months later, United States Marine Corps. During that whole process, at one point when I went to tell my parents, they were both like, hell no, you're out of your damn mind. You're not joining the Marine Corps. But I think they already knew, right? I think they knew that the Marine recruiter got me. So my dad's like, no way in hell, I'm not signing anything to you. Talk to all the other services. So I did. Of course, Dad. And those recruiters already knew. They're like, hey, look, you're with the Marine recruiter. You've been there for months now. You're going to be a Marine. Tell your dad you talked to us. You're good to go. So I did. Told my dad just that. Went home and said, Dad, talk to him. And the Air Force is not for me. So long story short, that's kind of what the two shorts have been about, because this is the time of year, the end of the school year. We're in May. Graduation's next month, or we're in April. So May and June, schools across the United States are graduating. Kids have already signed. If they hadn't, they're thinking about it. College acceptance letters, right? We're still waiting on Cece number 4, where she's going to go. And some of you are going to enlist. That's just facts. Some have been thinking about it forever. Some, maybe you're just thinking about it right now, tonight. Back to, I don't remember who had that question about me, Sep, throughout my career. Did I think about joining the officer corps? Marine Corps Enlisted Commissioning Program, right, MESEP, something like that. And I did every now and then throughout my entire career, once or twice. By then I knew what officers did. I saw it firsthand, and the biggest bonus, in my opinion, at that time and even now, the benefit of being an officer is you make more money. Right? As a young Marine officer, you get better barracks before you get married. Bachelor officer quarters, something like that. Better quality of life all the way through. So my own daughters, when they're thinking about the Marine Corps, I'm thinking about Marine officer right away. And then, as you know, Cece number 3, where is she? USMC Cece. She enlisted. Couldn't be prouder. Now Cece number 4 is trying to become a Marine officer. So 2 different spectrums. Back to, did I ever think about it? Yes, I thought about it a few times, but I enjoyed what I was doing way too much to make the shift, to make that move. And as I did more as an enlisted Marine, there was still more. Every rank, it seemed like, wow, I would love to become an officer now, but I want to be a drill instructor. I don't want to work at the Staff and SEAL Academy. I want to be a swim instructor. All those things that I wanted to do as an enlisted Marine. I was having way too much fun to change anything. So I never did. So yes, I thought about it. No, I never acted on it. Even warrant officer, same thing. I enjoyed what I was doing way too much. Wanted to be a first sergeant and a sergeant major. Somebody commented again on SART. First sergeant, sergeant major, because I don't pronounce it drill sergeant. And then the second video I just did was, is it too late once you sign the contract? Is it too late once you sign the contract? Are you locked in? And you ask any Poolee, they'll tell you, yeah, I already signed the contract. That's what I thought as a young Poolee. Because after I went to a couple more Poolee meetings, and then especially going to MEPS, I was like, whoa, I think I might have made a mistake. I'm thinking about changing my mind. And then getting to MCRD, still, can I change my mind? Hell no, it's too late. You already signed the contract. Even MEPS, you signed twice. I know my daughter did. She went one time, signed everything, and then went back again right before she shipped out and did some more signing. So you definitely feel like you're locked in. Here's the answer. To the short is, it's not too late. So if you're a Poolee right now, you signed a contract to go in the United States Air Force, and that time you signed until today, you change your mind, change your mind. Let your recruiter know out of professional courtesy, hey, Air Force guy, I changed my mind. I'm going to look at a different service. And then go to that new service recruiter and tell them just that. I've already signed. I went to MEPS or I haven't gone to MEPS. Whatever stage of your life you're in, if you're not 1,000% positive that's what you want to do, then make that change. It's not going to be a popular one, whatever it is, because people have already invested time and effort into you. But don't just follow through with it. Well, I don't want to piss anybody off, right? They put so much work and effort into me. You do exactly what you want to do. So make sure that decision is correct and go for it from there. I've changed my mind. Well, you're shipping out next week, buddy. We got everything's all set. Your favorite job and when you want to go, everything's perfect. Don't mess with that. If it's not right, you're not feeling it in your gut, God is sending you a message, then let everybody know and go when you're ready to the branch of service that you absolutely want to go to. So my 2 cents on that. When is the very last second that you can change your mind? I got to imagine it's if once you step on those yellow footprints and you swear in at the depot, San Diego or Parris Island, and wherever else they train all the other services. I'm assuming once you've surrendered yourself to them and they've stripped you down, gave you their clothes, and you started the process there, it's probably when it's too late. So before you get to that spot, make sure it's exactly what you want and what branch of service that you definitely want to go to. All right. Cave Diver, what's up, brother? Anyone else here that came in these last few minutes? I just want on a little rampage about the 2 shorts. If you haven't watched the shorts, check them out, pass them along, share them. I didn't know that was another analytic that is pretty important too. So watch, double tap. I see Kimi Cocoa Puffs told y'all to double tap, hit the like button, subscribe, tell your friends, get on the channel right now. We are about to get into some stuff right now. It's April, coming up to Easter weekend, which I'm totally looking forward to, spending time with Jesus and family. And then into May, that's when all schools are starting to end, finals are coming up. Teenagers are graduating. Where are they going? Where are they going after here? All right. Heavy J. I was super ready to roll 10K%, 1,000%. But when I failed the ASVAB, I couldn't even be a cook. That crushed me. So, good point, the ASVAB. Let's talk about the ASVAB for a minute. If you haven't taken it as a junior, and definitely as a senior, it's, again, not too late. Talk to your school, college counselor, career counselor, whatever they call them in your school. Take the ASVAB. If you haven't, if you're a junior especially, start taking it. Get used to, get comfortable taking that test. You can take it more than once. Don't quote me on how often, and if you fail it, you got to wait. I think it's like every 2 weeks, or you have to wait 2 weeks. Find out, get with your school counselor or the nearest recruiter. When are you sponsoring, when are you hosting an ASVAB take? My daughter has taken it a couple times. USMC Cece, I know, took it more than once. And way back, I took mine twice. I took it once to enlist. Didn't even really study. Same thing. The recruiter's like, come on, you probably won't even be able to pass this test. Took the ASVAB. I know they score it different now, but I got like a 109. Again, the scoring is different. 109 without studying. He said, that's not bad. Here's other jobs that are open: supply, cook, engineer, infantry, admin, truck driver. A few jobs. I was like, all right, sure, sounds good. Open contract is fine with me. But then he said, tell you what, this is what I want you to do. Here, study this. This is before ASVAB for dummies, but he gave me a book to study. Studied for 2 weeks. Went back and took it again. My score was like 121, which again, back then was a whole lot more jobs opened up. So I had my choice, aircraft mechanic and some weird stuff that, again, I had no idea what Marines did. So I just kept my open contract. Ended up going 1371 combat engineers, URAH. So bottom line is, take the ASVAB. Here's what people think, I believe, when kids enlist at the last minute. I ain't got nothing better to do. I may as well enlist. I don't frown upon that. I don't think that's a bad idea, because that's pretty much what I did. I didn't know what I was going to do. I wasn't looking at colleges. I wasn't even dreaming of going to school for 4 more years. High school was enough for me, until I realized later on in life, dang it, I should have put more effort into school. I definitely want to go to college now, and it all caught up to me later. I grew up, if you will, later, after a few years of my enlistment. All right, Heavy J says, I tried at 22 years old, trained for 6 months, made height and weight, took the practice 3 times, till they scheduled me to the real one, failed, had to wait 3 months, but I lost that motivation. Heavy J, how old are you now? So if you fail, you had to wait 3 months. I don't know if that's still the rule. I think so. Yeah, I'm getting a nod from the producer. Sounds about right, right? 3 months. But a lot of things happen. 3 months is a long time, right? When you're in between stuff like that. So Heavy J, let us know what you do now. And if you told us already, I apologize. But that's interesting. Doc Holliday says, why do young kids insist on joining the Marine Corps as a last minute? Because nothing says well thought out life decision like choosing the hardest branch on a whim. Amen. You know what I mean? If that's not, I got nothing better to do, just join the Army and chill out for a couple of years, join the Air Force and chill out. Nothing against those other branches of service, but I got nothing else to do. Let me join the hardest military service in the world. Yeah, I'm with you, Doc. You make that kind of decision, stand by. Cave diver, joined at 30. Too old for the Marine Corps, but went Army and checked the box. There you go. I'm telling you, everyone has a different story to their service, right, to serving. 30, Army, even at 30 years old, remember that one young Marine, 34, graduated boot camp at 34 years old. So too old for the Corps. Cave diver, you should ask for a waiver. It's a waiver for everything. Lay cookie, that was my path. Yours was go to war or go to jail. Lay cookie, I'm pretty sure. Emancipated minor with nothing better to do. There you go. And look at you now. 4 solid years. And now kicking butt and taking names. With any regrets, Lay Cookie? Would you go back? Not would you go back. Would you change it and not have gone? Because look at you now. Everyone, look at Lay Cookie now. Those 2 masterpieces on the bulkhead behind me are from Lay Cookie. An emancipated minor with nothing better to do. Became a United States Marine, kicked butt, took names.
And this is just a side hustle.
Went up and down the enlisted ranks real quick. And that is his side hustle. We won't talk about the millions that he makes, what he actually does, but just the work ethic, again, Lay Cookie, of no one I know. It's amazing. I wish I had that work ethic and that motivation and that drive that he has. Because again, that's a product of his side hustle. I regret the choices, Lay Cookie, I made back then every day, but I learned from that. I've made myself a much better person due to those choices. So again, some choices he made all factual. I'm telling you, the most transparent guy I know as well. And people don't like transparency. People don't like when you tell them they're screwed up. They need to hear it, right? They need to be honest with themselves, and Lay Cookie loved to just help them out with that. I see no problem in it. Poor leadership needs to be told that they are poor leaders. So hopefully they fix themselves. Nowadays, everyone's so sensitive, they get all butthurt, and just pray for them. Heavy J, now I'm Fred Flintstone working demolition, easy pay, hammers machines, caffeine city to city demo. All right, Flintstone work demolition, easy pay, hammers machines. So that sounds like some good solid work. Bryce Wilborg was in recruit training with 3 prior services, 2 Army, 1 Air Force. All 3 had Vietnam service ribbons. Dang. So I'm sure the DIs had fun with you on those. No, they had some extra attention just for you. Ray from Queens, in formation, only had 15 minutes, then work. Ray, good to see you, brother. Talking about boot camp, talking about the 2 shorts I just did and why do people choose the Marine Corps or the branch of service that they chose. And then the biggest one today we just put out, haven't had time to kind of track that one, but the question was, when is it too late? After I sign the contract, what if I change my mind? What can I do about it? And our advice here, and I don't know if I've heard anything different from anyone else yet, but change your mind. Let it be known that you've changed your mind. Contact your recruiter right away and say, look, I made a mistake and this is what I really want to do. Join the service that you really want to join. All right. You can join the Marine Corps at 30. Old dogs can still become devil dogs, and the experience brings a bite to the young ones that haven't earned it yet, Doc Holliday, era. Lay Cookie, that's why I was calling the sergeant major wherever he wanted to go to this day. That's why I was calling a sergeant major wherever he wanted to go all the way to this day. Right there, look at the producer's note. Please, everyone, support for our SFMF-ers out there. Get 10% off A&C Metalworks, those masterpieces on the wall. 10% off if you mention SFMF when you go on Lay Cookie's website. Look at the products he has on there. The Eagle Omenaker obviously was a special order. Semper Fi, my friend. Look it up. Hit the link. Check him out. He's got some awesome work. All right. Mark Hankins, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Our series honor man was 34 years old. Old Sailor Corpsman, was a decorated Vietnam veteran. There you go, 34 years old, Vietnam vet, corpsman. Joined the Marine Corps. So he worked first hand in hand with the Marines, obviously in combat, as a corpsman, and said, as soon as I get back from this Vietnam, I'm joining the Marine Corps. That's awesome, Hankins. Thanks for sharing that. And he was a series honor man. That's what that old age did for him, old age at 34. That is old for a recruit. But the maturity level that he had going in and already serving in Vietnam, would have loved to have him as my guide. Semper Fi, Ray. John, there might be some soldiers in the crowd. Jared, I already ordered a sign from Lay Cook, but it's not USMC, LOL. A sign from my woman. Awesome. I remember that for your wife's business, right? Good on you, Jared. Oh, is she watching? Don't let her know. I just got the shush. Nice, Jared. That's awesome. Good on you for supporting like that. You're awesome. John is Scottish, but you Marine guys put up a good fight. Thanks, John. I think the Marines do a pretty good job as well. Pretty solid warriors. I think you had a hash mark. Can you imagine that? Your series honor man in boot camp graduating with a hash mark. That is awesome. And a stack of ribbons. He had a stack. Probably more than his drill instructors. That is cool. Squad leader, then PG. Cave diver. PG, what's PG? Post grad? Platoon guide. All right, squad leader, then platoon guide. Who keeps asking me about my shot status? You can't penetrate these guns with any kind of needles. Is this USMC vet? There she is. Is this?
It's not she.
Oh, dang it! I saw USMC. I thought it was USMC Cece. Where is she? If this is live, what color is Sergeant Major's eyes? It is live. I thought it was USMC Cece. USMC vet. Good to see you. John, and respect from, how do I say that? Glaswegian. Jason, Wilborg, he, okay, I'm a dude. USMC vet is a dude. I apologize, USMC vet. I saw USMC big bold letters, and I was reading it as USMC CC. That's CC number 3. And where is she? That's what we need to find out. I'm a dude. USMC vet. Good to see you.
Yeah. He, him pronouns.
He, him pronouns. Sarah, how's the U.S. job market? Great now. Tiger, good morning to you. It's evening. Where are you? Good evening, Tiger. I know you got a good question. Hopefully you watched the shorts as well. Search and rescue for USMC Cece. Somebody better contact her. One of her sisters better get on her right now and make sure she gets on the show. I'm getting ready to talk about her some more. Derek, Big Horse, do you know anyone serving as a Raider Marine? So I've been pretty far removed from active duty, so I don't know any Marine Raiders right now, but in MARSOC and a lot of young kids, I want to be a Marine Raider. You can. MARSOC is now probably 20 years old, back in the old Marine Raiders from way back, but it's now current, active. Almost every MOS can be a Marine Raider because they need all MOSs in there. Yes, the POGs too, but you can be a Marine Raider. So personally, no, I don't know. I haven't looked again. Haven't discussed that with anyone currently. Heavy J, thanks for hanging out, brother. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Sunday. See you Sunday, Easter Sunday. God bless you, Heavy J. I worked with the SAR guy, a power plant who went through Bridgeport too. Cool dude. Bridgeport, the true colors come out in Bridgeport. Awesome. CC, that's UA. What's up, right? CC number 3 is UA. We got to write her up. I got her. And she has background in legal, so she knows. She can do it for her own UPB, and I'll charge her. Any advice for future 0331 machine gunner? Big Daddy, that's my screen name. Here's my advice for 0331. Go for it. My favorite 03 in the 03 community, I take it back. I like the 11s. I like straight leg infantry because they can do it all. But the 31s absolutely, truly are the backbone of the infantry. Don't get mad, Mortarman, Assault Man, everyone else in the 03 community. But I'm telling you, that sheet of lead that they put down range right over your head so you can assault something is pretty dang awesome from far away. So I love the 31s. I love the machine gunners. I think it's a great MOS. Again, a lot of 03s, 11s get cross-trained into that if the need is there. So that's a great 0331 choice. Advice, keep your own bottle of CLP, the big bottle. Yeah, changing them barrels. lubing that bolt up. You got to be ready as a 31. And make sure you have a good aid gunner or just a good team for all those reasons right there. So they need to know as much about that gun as you do. So when you have a malfunction, you're sending that lead downrange. Something happens, they can fix it. You don't have to move your position. So be a good aid gunner first, and then you'll be that gunner one day. 0331, practice by carrying a cinder block on your shoulder. That gun's not light after a while. And definitely, yeah, get used to humping that baby all over the place and sleeping with it. It's not comfortable. M4s are smaller now. You can sleep with those, but any belt-fed weapon is going to be a pain in the butt. 240, love the 240. Yes, belt gets twisted easier than you think they would. Yes, I'm telling you, a lot of things can happen to that machine gun if you and your aid gunner aren't ready. USMC vet, bro, my bad on missing Sunday. My Rottweiler passed away. No, Gunny Bowser, 2011, 2025. So man, I'm 14 years old, right? Was that quick math? Sorry to hear that, brother. I know he was part of the family. May he rest in peace, brother. Sorry, very sorry to hear that. When was the last time you truly felt tested as a Marine? Doc Holliday, man, you come out with some home runs. When was the last time I felt tested as a Marine? What? Producer's being funny. He said yesterday morning. Wow, that's good. So physically, the last time, we'll go with that. Then we'll go morally, mentally next. But physically, the last time I was truly, I'm trying to think back, probably my last deployment, right? The most, Doc says, era, producer. So combat will do it to you. It'll test you mentally and physically. I do remember one of we had a couple of vehicles go into a canal. Those roads are real thin. The trucks are gigantic. There's no paved roads anywhere where we were. And it kind of tested everything. It was at night. The Buffalo, what are the big ones? Big troop carriers called the Buffalo, I think. Fits like 6 packs. Still got an up gun, and it has the communication gear in there. And that baby slowly, and you're in the back, you're like helpless. Slowly just felt it. And in fact, you're facing each other. So it was going to the right and I was on the left. It just felt everywhere. We were all coming to the other side and you're strapped in. But that baby was in a ditch. And the first thing I thought about was, of course, heavy as heck too. I didn't know how full the canal was with water. And it hadn't started filling up yet, but I just imagined that being stuck in that coffin in this canal. So again, physically and mentally, crap, I'm getting my stuff off. All that training you do, we had the red lights on inside so you could see a little bit. Trying to get out, open that 1,000-pound door and get all 6 Marines out with your gears. Not easy. A bigger guy, hard to get in and out of that hatch and then which way you're going. And then where you're going off into, right? Only the up gun and the driver and a driver can see what's going on, NVGs. So then the threat of being ambushed while our vehicle was slowly rolling into us. And I was afraid we were going to roll all the way over and be upside down. We never did. We slid into it. Water did start creeping in through the back door. And, you know, we evac, right? Vehicle evac, all that training that you did, into the canal. So now we're soaking wet. It was it, I don't remember it being cold. But quickly getting the 360 around the vehicle, and now we got to worry about being ambushed while our vehicle's in the drink, and calling for a wrecker. You know, it's a big old wrecker that pulls that big thing out, and how long is that going to take? Where is he going to be coming from? So hours and hours we were stuck. The vehicle was stuck in there. MRAP, MATV, whatever it was huge. gear in there getting wet? Are we going to lose comm? Just all those things are really testing your mettle, if you will. All the while, formed a 360 to make sure we didn't get ambushed. Vehicles front and behind us, they're still on the canal. Right now, they worried about going in. So just a whole lot going on. Villagers do end up coming out. They want to see what's going on, anything they can steal from you. Luckily, we were in an uncontested area at the time, but it was that whole overall feeling of, holy, you know what? What's going to happen next? What kind of situation did we just get ourselves into? Clearly, shouldn't have been on that road, right? But it's hard to tell at night. Nothing against the driver. We did our recon. We probably had been on that road before. Did the water erode a little bit? Something. So that was kind of all around physically and mentally challenging. And it, then you're worried about everyone else in that convoy. How long were we going to be in that position? And how vulnerable were we by having? Wrecker came, took them a while, they finally got it out, we moved on. Turned out to be a safe patrol. And it got us to know that area pretty well too. You can imagine after being stuck there, we learned met some of the villagers that were nearby, right? Even offered some help, which is always suspect. But it turned out to be a pretty good thing. Or just not a bad ordeal. Mentally, you get challenged every day. And the higher you go, the more challenging it becomes. Moral courage. That's when moral courage comes into play. Now, not in a combat situation. Just everyday life, dealing with those certain leaders that maybe have gone a different direction, forgot where they came from. Leadership skills have diminished quite a bit. That's when moral courage comes into place. And like Lay Cook, sometimes you got to be brutally honest. And leaders who don't have a lot of confidence don't like that. But then they result on their leading by their collar, meaning their rank. They hide behind their rank. Instead of doing morally the right thing or taking input, it becomes a pretty bad situation. And then morally, another reason why I wanted to be a first sergeant and then a sergeant major, so I could be brutally honest with the commander. Right? That's your number one job, senior enlisted advisor to the commander. So luckily and thankfully, I had some good leaders along the way that could take a good, honest assessment of certain situations. Like, sir, this is jacked up. You need to do something about it. So that's a moral struggle that comes with the territory, the burden of leadership. Or one boss as a sergeant major, and that's the commander. But when he or she doesn't listen or has too big of an ego or just wants to be in charge but not make the right decisions, that's when it becomes pretty morally challenging. And you got to stick to your guns, right? Brutally honest, transparent, and tell it like it is. So great question, Doc. Appreciate that. And hopefully people, as soon as you ask that question, hopefully people are thinking about the same thing. What's tough? All right, Ray says, outwatch the rest tomorrow. Semper Fi, Ray. Get to work, brother. Hope you have a uneventful work if that's better for you. But get after it. Thanks for joining us for the few minutes you could. All right. Cave diver had a 44-year-old in basic. Wow. Old man. Tiger says, according to the video description, it is. Tiger, you're talking with the producer. Doc says, Sergeant Major, what's harder, becoming a Marine or staying one? That's good too. Becoming a Marine or staying one, which is harder? So here's what I'll tell you about boot camp. Yes, everyone knows Marine Corps boot camp is the hardest. is the very hardest, hands down. Not because I'm biased and I'm a Marine, just facts. Second hardest we know now is Coast Guard boot camp. They modeled theirs just like Marine boot camp. Took them years of observation, and it's probably been 20 years now since they changed it also, but it is the second hardest. So is it harder to become a Marine or stay a Marine? I think that's the first term. Your first term will determine that. Remember, we say on here, don't judge the Marine Corps off your first duty station. You get that misconception that the Marine Corps is exactly like your first duty station, and that could be good or bad. If your first duty station isn't a good one, or there's just some bad leadership there, you judge the entire Marine Corps off that first duty station, and it could make or break you or your career. So I always told myself way back, if I re-enlisted one time, I was going to stay in for 20. End up staying beyond that. So the easy answer to that, it was harder to become a Marine than it was to stay a Marine for me personally, because I absolutely loved everything I did. Your first duty station's rough. You're a private PFC or Lance Corporal. You're at the bottom of the totem pole. You're doing the crap jobs. You're on guard duty. You're doing police calls. You're doing some PFC work. People for cleanup. That's what you're doing starting out. After I re-enlisted, I was a corporal. When all of a sudden I was a squad leader. As a corporal, started getting some responsibility and motivation. I was in charge of people. When I was starting to be able to use my leadership, and then just flourished from there. Drone instructor, I was a DI early on, and that completely re-greened me. But it just confirmed that, yes, I want to be a Marine for the rest of my life and active duty as long as I possibly can. So again, to answer that question, is it harder to be a Marine or stay a Marine? To get into the Marine Corps, stay a Marine, I rephrased it very well. I think it's that initial boot camp, SOI or MCT, and then your school, and then getting into the fleet. That 1 year long process of getting into the Fleet Marine Force, the FMF, could be a real test, and that will test your mettle. Then staying a Marine, that's what it was. Becoming a Marine or staying a Marine. I think definitely becoming a Marine, and it only gets better. Someone asked one of the comments a while ago, is in boot camp, do they still say, does third phase recruits say to first phase recruits, stay motivated, recruit, it gets better. That's what I'd like to say to all first term Marines. Stay motivated, it gets better as you progress in rank, right? Especially those big jumps from Lance Corporal to Corporal. Now you're an NCO. The Corps is different as an NCO. Then going from Sergeant to Staff Sergeant. Another big jump, a great transition. Now you're a Staff NCO. Now you're included in things like, let me get all the staff and officers. Completely different Marine Corps from a Staff Sergeant to E5 and below. So it only gets better. All right. Tiger, sir, as a leader, did you often delegate? And if so, what if your subordinates made mistakes with the tasks you designated? Very good question, Tiger. I think delegating authority is what got me to where I got. I was one of those guys, I knew I couldn't do it all myself. So I absolutely delegated. It's the fine line of, what if they don't do it exactly like I want it done? That's called micromanaging. And I learned early on that they don't need to do it exactly like I want to do it, or I would be doing it. So delegating that authority, allowing them to make mistakes, everybody wins, right? It's maybe not done exactly like you wanted it to be, but was the task completed? And if it wasn't, that's when you talk after and say, hey, mission accomplished. I like it. However, did you think about doing it this way? Did you think about these other? Did you ask your fire team a better way or for their input? So definitely learning is going to occur. Micromanaging, on the other hand, is detrimental, in my personal opinion, to any mission. That's why you have a team. You surround yourself with a good team. People that mutual respect goes back and forth. I'm going to trust you. Here's the mission. I'm going to trust you to take care of it. If you have questions, ask me. And they're going to feel comfortable with asking me because they know I'm not going to, no, you idiot, that's not how you should do it. You should do it just like I, no. It's a mutual respect that we're going to get the mission. Number one, mission accomplishment. Let's do it the best way possible. But you as a leader have to be able to stand back and say, okay, that's not how I would do it. Especially in peacetime. Let them make mistakes. Let them learn from their mistakes. Discuss it after. Fill out this form called the After Actions Report and read it and brief it and act on it. Great points. Next time, let's try it that way. So yeah, I think it's vital that you allow people to make mistakes and learn from them. Mark Hankins, it's about mission accomplishment. Priorities of work, mission accomplishment, troop welfare, 100%. Jared says, somebody asked me many years ago, I responded, all of them, and walked away. I don't know what the question was. Loyalty up, loyalty down. Bryce, nailed it. Amen, brother. Loyalty, respect, all those things go absolutely both ways. We have the three leadership styles, the dictatorship. You'll do it this way because I said so. That's necessary. Sometimes very few. You need, as a leader, to be able to work with 3 or 4 different types of leadership styles in order to be successful. Excuse me. And you surround yourself with good people. Not yes men. You don't want to, yes sir, great idea. Yes sir, we'll do it. No, challenge me and make me look at a bigger picture. Is this the very best way to do it? I'm asking you. Don't give in because he or she's the boss. This is how I want it done. Great, sir. It'll get done, but would you mind listening to about 8 other ideas? No, go ahead. Ask your kill number. Come on. We don't ask that on this channel. It's advice I heard and early on in my career as a young JROTC instructor. Once they find out you've been to combat, kids like to ask that. What's your kill number?
I said something you asked face to face. And Jared said, it's not even something you see face to face. I said, yeah, so you can get ready for a truth.
Yes.
He has the balls to say that face to face.
You just don't ask it. And I don't know. Maybe what's the name I'd like you to ask him? What's the name? Who we make fun of? The Ranger, Army Ranger? I'm asking you, with the backpack and hand grenades? Tim Kennedy. Maybe he would like you to ask him. Jared's, that's your bestie? Tim Kennedy, a guy like that would want you to ask him, how many kills you got, bro? That's something to ask. I tell you, I try to balance my leadership style with compliance, commitment, and positive reinforcement. Awesome. I'm telling you, it's Tim the liar. It is such a balance. And again, unfortunately, some leaders forget that the higher they get, the more people they're in charge of. It doesn't change from a fire team leader should be leading like that, leading 3 Marines, all the way up to the commandant of the Marine Corps. It doesn't matter what rank you are, how high of a billet you hold, and how many people you're in charge of. A division sergeant major, right? Regimental sergeant major in charge of 15 or 35,000 Marines. That same process can happen. I like that. Compliance, commitment, and positive reinforcement, 100%. It doesn't go away. Cave Diver said, we don't claim him. Green Beret? What was he? Cave Diver? Is that what he was? Green Beret? Army? Green Beret. Jared wants to fight. That was the producer, Jared. She's the one said that you guys are battle buddies. I know people of a Ranger tell him, I doubt Carlos Hathcock talked about his. Amen. and his were published, but it's not something you ask Carlos Hathcott. I don't like liars or stolen valor folks. No need to embellish your service. Amen, Jared. We did do a little. We discussed that Marine Sergeant Major, who embellished, added some stuff to his fruit salad. It's like, why, bro? You're a sergeant major. You made it to the top of the enlisted community. You can't get any higher. That's impressive enough. Why do you have to? What, he faked it like a combat action ribbon, a Bronze Star with the V? Just added some stuff to his chest to seem more. I don't know. Your actions, the things you've actually done, that's credit enough. You don't need to embellish anything. You can never know. You don't always do BDA. Great point, Cave Diver. That's another one right there. You don't always know. You don't always do a BDA, Battle Damage Assessment. So again, if you know, you've been in some combat situations where fire is going both directions, right? You drop some mortars, you have heavy machine guns, you got 31s, 0331s just blasting an area. You don't always have the opportunity to go through there and count. And you don't always see what you're shooting at. It's just not a question you ask. Do you count the indirect fire, right? G-Boss dropped it. It is all BS. So if can someone, do people actually know theirs? Yeah, I'm sure there's some with very low numbers who had like one firefight, maybe, or two, and they actually see the entire thing, and you get an opportunity to go through that impact zone and do a count. Sure, maybe, but if that's what's on your mind, you're there for the wrong reason anyway. So again, not a question you ask. Jared, I don't do squat in my 8. Man, I missed it. It passed by. It disappeared already. All right. Top of the hour. Welcome, everybody. It is Wednesday night, SFMF Live. If you haven't already, smash that like button. Producer put on ANC Metalworks, which is behind me up on the wall. The merch we haven't talked about in a while. Did some cleaning around here, so I don't even have the stickers. They're over there. Don't forget, those are still in sfmfmerch.myshopify.com. The description is, the links are in the description of the channel. Check them out. Still got some green monsters I'm looking at, some lanyards, hoodies, and t-shirts. Get them while they're hot. Jared, body count doesn't actually matter. It's not about the number. It's about the mission accomplishment and protecting your fellow Marines. Amen, Jared. Again, if you're on a mission and you're thinking about, I got to get some, I can't say that word, a body count. If that's what you're thinking, that's the wrong mindset to go in. I like that, what Jared just said, about mission accomplishment and protecting the Marines to your left and to your right. That's what you should be thinking about. I just mean that proud to be a Marine, and I never saw a day in combat. I trained everywhere and often, but that's it. You have the right mindset with it, though, Jared. Love it.
Been more than 90s.
Yeah, you've done more than most people will their entire life. So good on you. Cave Diver, yep. Hello from Russia. Era, simplify, my friend. Hit the like button. Tell your friends in Russia. Randall Knapp, I will get my merch in May. I had to pay taxes this month. Ugh, yes. Amen, Randall. Appreciate you, brother. At least you got them done on time. Today? Yesterday. Yesterday. Good on you, Randall. Once you get that big fat check back, come back. USMC can be green berets. Ask me how. How is that? USMC vet. Green beret, there's no berets in the Marine Corps. Remember, for a short period of time, they thought about using berets in the Marine Corps. Luckily, Chesty Puller spoke from his grave and said, don't you dare put a beret on a Marine. But how can you become a Green Beret? Jarhead 1775 is new. What was your MOS and when you came in the Corps? I was motor T. You can't truck it? You can't finish the rest of that. 3521. I was a,
Truck it.
oh, if you can't truck it, you know.
They're right.
Oh, ruck it. Oh, she's trying to help me out. You can't truck it, ruck it. All right, I like that.
That's the PG-13.
PG, PG. Colonel Ripley. Oh, yeah. That's what he did, right? I don't remember the Colonel Ripley story, the whole story. Carrie Ann Marie Potts. Amen to you. Does anyone know how John's doing? John McJunkin and crew, we haven't seen them. It is a Wednesday night.
They were here Sunday.
They were here Sunday, Carrie Ann Marie. They were here Sunday. He was here. Had some good questions, as always.
Probably back on Sunday.
Hopefully he'll be here Sunday. Thanks, Carrie Ann Marie. We will. We'll be looking for him. We got about an hour. Hopefully he shows up, or maybe they're busy doing some URAH stuff. Hope to see him Sunday. Tiger, these individuals like Tim Kennedy and other SEALs, etc., should practice keeping OPSEC instead of writing any other book or babbling lies on podcasts. Amen, Tiger. Again, also that whole little segment we did about it. Why do you have to embellish what you do in service, even if you don't? Look at Jared. If you don't go to combat, you train, you volunteer. It's still all volunteer service. You're volunteering to put your life on your line for your country. That's enough. Boom. Less than 1% serve our country. So if you've done that, you've done your part. Problem is, I think when you do get some combat under your belt and you see some stuff and it's beyond imaginable, some of the stuff that combat Marines go through. Not everybody talks about it. And that's their choice. It does make you wonder about the ones. Well, either way, it's 100% their decision. It's when they embellish and try to make it out to seem worse than it actually was. And then the more you tell a story. I can't wait till we publish Sunday's live with Hot Rod, Navy Cross recipient, and sitting here listening to him, and I've known him for 4 years. That was the first time I heard the entire story. Amazing, and just again how he recounted the whole story as he was telling it. And I know Rod from way back. I know he didn't, and I wasn't there with him, but you can just tell the difference in that story and some of these Tim Kennedys out there. Almost like bragging and wanting you to think they're extra cool, because he told a story that a Humvee blew up, the Humvee in front of him blew up, flipped upside down, landed on top of his Humvee, so 2 Humvees were roof to roof, and they just kept going and still lighting stuff up. I find that very hard to believe, and I didn't even listen to the rest of his, I couldn't listen to it anymore. And then how he was telling those stories. Again, he had a backpack full of 30 or 40 hand grenades, and very, very hard to believe. So keep to the facts. Keep to this is what I remember. And then just the fact of retelling the story over and over again. I don't know how many times Gunny Rod has told his, but the more you tell it, seems to me the more accurate it would be, because you do remember stuff. You recount. There is the fog of war. That's real. You can go through a scenario that lasts an hour. By the time you get back to safety, you checking everybody, getting ammo count, body count, you're getting all these things, and everybody in a 4-vehicle convoy gets hit in an intersection. All 4 vehicles will have a little bit different recount of that story. One, because they're all looking in a different direction. They all have a different enemy. Everything's different for everybody. And you think you know what the vehicle behind you is doing, but maybe it didn't happen the way you remembered it because you're focused here. So Why why the embellishment? You're already cool, dude. I think he was a Green Beret, right? You're a bad mamma jamma because you're a Green Beret, right? And then with combat experience, right? That Marine Sergeant Major, he had been to combat. I don't remember his combat story, but he did go to combat. He was a Marine Sergeant Major, and been to combat. Bro, that's cool, right? You don't need to make anything up. All right, Charles, bye. Are you still active duty, brother? No, I'm not. I'm still waiting on the call to get called back into action if they ever, producers looking at me funny. I'm waiting on that call. Need an old SAR major, like as I cough and get out of breath.
That's what.
The SAR major, get my answer. USMC vet, say it again. Doc, I know this question was not for me, but my answer is unequivocally the brothers and some great sisters that I served with. Amen and Semper Fi. I'm guessing the question was, how do you reconcile the pride of service with the path it sometimes leaves behind? You're getting deep on me, Doc. How do you reconcile the pride of service with the pain it sometimes leaves behind? Another great one, Doc. So, man, you meet some amazing people along the way. And I got to believe now with social media, it's a lot easier to keep in contact. But even when we started this channel, another guy, and I haven't had a chance to get back and find out what's up with him. He said, bro, you were my sergeant major 10 years ago. I remember some of the lessons you taught me. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it does bring you back, and you've made some amazing relationships along the way. And a few combat deployments, and you lose some people in combat or even after, right? We talk about PTSD and suicide and all those. Can I say that on the air? So you have some amazing memories. You have some hard memories, right? On the you recount the dates that you've lost Marines, celebrating the Marine Corps birthday still, Memorial Day, all those things definitely mean something. It recounts to way back, but it's, again, no regrets at all. All right, USMC vet, you can be Green Beret, authorized to wear. If they go recon, then serve with the UK Marines and graduate All Arms Commando course, you are authorized to wear the beret the rest of your career. So, USMC vet, I can remember a story. I had a commander who did go to the UK, went to one of their commando schools. He was a bad mamma jamma, and he did earn the right to wear that beret while he was with that commando unit. He was authorized to have it in his personal effects, but he could not wear it with the Marine uniform. Unless that has changed, and of course I never looked it up because I didn't care that much. It's pretty impressive. I was just impressed that he was a little guy, but he was hard as nails, and he made it through that training. Would he ever have the intestinal fortitude to wear it with the Marine uniform around other Marines? I hope not. One more, Doc. It disappeared on me.
You said he has questions that come about. This is the best channel to ask.
Awesome, Doc. Keep them coming, man. You got us all thinking. I love it. Cave Diver, from the producer. If I may say, y'all go hard and love the military. Making a priority, and it can be tough for the spouse. The spouse.
He said his wife resents the Army and where it left him.
Yeah. Cave Diver facts, man. I'm telling you, and I tell this story not just to kiss the producer's butt, but the active duty member, we got it easy. Yeah, we're going to combat. We're going in harm's way. We've been training all our life for it, and that's what we want to do. That's what we volunteered to do, and we're going in as tough, right? We want people to feel bad for us. Maybe we're just attention, whatever the reason. You're going just to straight up defend your country. Your spouse, on the other hand, has the tough job. the tougher job. Not physically, well, sometimes physically as well, but mentally. What they go through back in the rear, handling all the things that you should be handling together. Car payments, house payments, rent, moving, PCS. My wife did a PCS move by herself, permanent change of station by herself because I was deployed. Kids, all that, everything that comes with raising kids and soccer practice, baseball practice, boyfriends, girlfriends, proms, graduations. That's what your spouse is doing behind it. When you leave them and expect them, to be honest, that's what we expect them to handle us. We expect to come home to everything being perfect. If not, come back like, why is the grass not cut? How come my car's not registered? All those things that, again, they're left to do without you. Unfair. Man, that's unfair. So to have one day throughout the year or is it a month? You guys get a whole month? Dependents, spouses day, something. It's a lifetime what they deserve for what they go through. And by the way, they don't know if you're safe. They're watching the news, checking the SGLI, making sure your insurance is paid up in case you don't come back. Big money. But they don't know. Again, our first deployment, our first communication in Desert Storm was on some gigantic radio green gear in the comm tent. Couldn't hear and bad connection. That's the kind of stuff that your spouses go through, your families go through. If you're young, single, your parents go through. I mean, everybody goes through. They got a harder back here in garrison than you do in combat. Think about it that way. So I hear you as well. We can't forget about the life path of the dependents back home. USMC vet says, Doc, just like me, you might have to ask 4 or 5 times. Was that for me? USMC vet, let's go. Jared, do you know why birds fly upside down over Navy bases? Let's hear it. SMFF, right here, from the producer. One deployment when he left for Somalia. I had to change a home phone number right after he left. Why'd you do that? So I couldn't call you when I came back?
Yeah, remember we had a home phone number? Some creepy guy was calling.
And that. You're leaving your young wife and maybe young kids, right?
Why, when you went Satchmo, those guys went to a small.
Those creepers, right? We did. We left out of Hawaii platoon to Somalia kind of last minute. Yeah, again, what your spouses go through while you're deployed, it'd be tough. I don't know how I would take it back home again, way back, trying to watch the news to get any information on your deployed spouse. It can be tough. Jared, the answer to his question was there's nothing worth crapping on. I like it. Doc, Sergeant Major, what's one moment with your spouse that reminded you why you served? Not just your country, but for them. So all those times in combat, and yes, I was forced into every single combat deployment. I may have volunteered for 1 or 2. Even at Somalia, my first sergeant's like, I need 1 sergeant to go. There's 3 of us. I need 1 sergeant to go. Take this platoon to Somalia. You're going to be attached to. It wasn't a real clear mission. And I said I wanted to go. He said, you better call your wife and ask her. So I pretended to call her. Yes, babe. Can I go on this deployment? He knew I wasn't talking to her. He said, call her, put on speakerphone. I want to hear. And I tried to start the conversation with First Sergeant's making me go. He's like, no, you ain't putting this on me. But he made me go. What was the question? Remember the question now. What was Doc's question? Ask it again, Doc. I got thrown off. USMC vet. If you need help, blink 3 times. You see her back there. I don't know why she has a knife. She's wielding a knife right now.
He's lying.
Doc, yeah, I totally got thrown off. What was your question? Can you pull it? Can you pull it down and look it up?
I can.
Something about the spouses. Oh, so yes, not just. I remember that right before you put it back up. One moment with your spouse that reminded you why you serve, not just for your country, but for your family. So, didn't think about it like that as a young Marine in Desert Storm, of all places, was my first combat experience, and fired up. We've been training I was in 4 years, waiting for this moment. I was an engineer, so minefields. That's what we were doing. The line charge. I couldn't wait to blow up a whole minefield. All the stuff that we've been practicing, and it was new to the world. Just us Americans being in a combat situation. Last big one was Vietnam, and then Beirut after that. So it was new. I don't want to say exciting, but it was new and exciting to all of us. We started moving up, right, to the border, going after those Iraqis. And I hadn't even heard of most of the countries that were involved in this. And the first time we received incoming rounds, I talked about that with Gunny Rod on Sunday. You don't know how you're going to act. Could be the toughest guy in the world till a round zips past your face, or a mortar round drops near you and blows everything up. Your ears are ringing. How you going to act? So. And it made me even kind of nervous. Like, man, I hope I react like I think I will or like I want to. But you just don't know. Again, you think you do, but you don't know until it happens. And if it hasn't happened to you, God bless. That's God watching over you. But once it does, and then you react, I remember my first thoughts were, man, this dude's trying to take me out away from my family. So fighting for my country was still there. But also my family came first.
My wife's going to be pissed.
My wife is going to be pissed if you shoot me, especially in the face, because she loves my face. But it really did shift instantly for me, and I remember it to this day. And when was Desert Storm? Jared, you're old. It was a long time ago. And I can remember that moment. And ours was mortar fire. That was the first enemy fire I received, was mortar fire. And it was sporadic. It wasn't accurate. It came close enough to be like, okay, all right, here we go. This is real. And I got angry. Like, this dude is trying to take me out. Someone behind that little mortar tube, a couple hundred yards from me, is trying to take me out away from my family. I had not a newborn. She was 9 months old, 10 months old, my baby, taking my wife and my baby, taking me away from them. That's when it shifted to, I'm not just doing this for America. Well, I am. My wife and kid are included in America, and they're not going to take me away from that. So it definitely did shift. Still the same priority, fighting for my country, support and defend the Constitution. All those things run through your mind, and family. God, country, core, family always, right? You're fighting for God, country, and core, ever. And family always. So it's definitely part of the package. And it's something I got to believe is on everyone's mind. Again, if you're young, you're not married yet, then it's for your mom, your dad, your siblings. But it's definitely your family. Your new family, in immediate threat, that's your Marines, ever. And then the family back home that you want to come home to safe and sound. So it's definitely all together. All right. Jared, I came in right in the middle of Desert Storm. Gabe Dyer, producer, my wife, producer and his wife would get along. So low you can't hear us. Doc, Semper Fi, my brother, combat engineer, build and fight, blow it up, and I'm telling you, that was the what got me to want to be a combat engineer, right? Fighting, destruction, construction, and destruction. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate you very much. What unit were you attached to in Somalia? Jarhead Jason. Great question. So we were a motley crew, if you will, from Hawaii. And two of us sergeants ended up going. There's three of us. One had to go, then it was two. So again, the First Army forced me to go to Somalia. Sticking to that story. We took a platoon of 35 Marines, two sergeants, 35 Marines, all different ranks, corporals and below, of all different MOSs. It really was a hodgepodge of Marines. Riflemen. It was pretty amazing. Electricians, corporal, of course we had a couple corpsmen, motor T. I don't even remember all the MOSs. Engineers, trackers, again, 35, probably 10 different MOSs. And we got attached immediately as soon as we got in country. We went to Camp Pendleton. They just had a flood. We helped out with the flood for about a week while we waited on our transportation and then flew into Mogadishu. And being the motivated IRA, still smelling like cash shells, brand new desert camis, walking around with my rifle slung over my shoulder, trying to find someone who was in charge of us. Nobody knew we were coming. Nobody knew where we were from. Nobody knew what our job was. So it's pretty interesting first couple of days. We were just trying to find a home, right? We needed tents. We needed a vehicle. We came with none of the packs on our backs. Very, very interesting. We ended up linking up. We ended up working for 9th ESB. Who is in Okinawa? What engineer unit? 3rd CEB. 3rd CEB. We linked up with 3rd Combat Engineer Battalion out of Okinawa. Just funny because I had been there years prior. And an old Chief Warrant Officer that I worked for years ago, my first duty station, he was still with them. You know how Chief Warrant Officers do it. He was there. Gunner Price. They were called gunners back then. Don't get offended, any Marine gunners. Warrant officers were called gunners back then. Chief Warrant Officer Rice picked us up, said, I'll take you. The country boy. He said, come on over here, a couple tents. Gave us a couple vehicles, gave us some tents, showed us where the mess hall was, and said, you are, get to work. Come here every night for the stand-up meeting, the BUB, the battle update brief, and we'll get you out on the road. And that's what we ended up doing in Somalia. We were support for any vehicle convoy that went out. We were at the airport, and they'd call us up, give us some missions. All right, the Italians are going to go out this time, this place. They need 4 vehicles, fill them up, get some up guns, and you'll escort them out to wherever they're going and come back. We would escort people all throughout Somalia and come back. And while we were back at the airport, we would secure the airport. So pretty odd mission. We didn't do any combat engineer. Well, now I take it back. We built some bunkers, filled tons of sandbags. Of course, that's what you do on your off time in combat. We traded MREs and gear with the Italians and the French because they had the wine and the beer. It was a pretty wild experience. I take it back. We did a couple more engineer projects, put up some wire, put up some fencing, put up some defensive positions, but in between, just convoy escorts. Pretty intense 3 months. I was only in Somalia 3 months. That was, those 3 months were way more intense, a lot more firefights, a lot more engagements, because you really didn't know who the enemy was over there. That was the interesting part too, a bunch of rogue units, and that's what they're fighting for is leadership. They're trying to fight for leadership. Food was coming in, any food deliveries, we'd have to guard that because those rogue units they try and intercept it and sell it it was chaos. It was chaos over there. All right, I see Kimi Cocoa Puffs. Who needs mods when you have a crew like this? We have some, is there some trolls in here? Yes, Warrant officers were addressed as sir, ma'am, or gunner. I never met a female warrant officer. I don't remember in the early days, Randall, I don't remember any female warrant officers as well. Plenty now. Jared will be 23 in September, but my body's like 52. USMC vet, I'm with you, I'm still a teenager. Wow, you worked with Gunner Price in Somalia. Lake Cookie, yeah, you remember Gunner Price? That's right. Remember old country boy, little guy, in the construction shop. Let me see, why you measuring the board twice? You already cut it. Yeah, he was on me. He was on me quite a bit. I told you I wasn't that good of an engineer. He would be on me every day. What are you measuring it for? You already cut it. I was that guy. Measure, cut, measure again. I get so mad when I'd measure it again after I cut it. Too late. You already screwed it up. Gunner Price was in Somalia. Lake Cookie, you imagine that? Again, I'm walking around this base camp with my rifle, a whole platoon following me. They're like I know where we're going. Then I'd see this little guy. Hey, what y'all doing over there? Gunner Price. Welcome home. All right. Yeah, I never even thought about that. A female warrant officer. Again, I obviously have since those days, but some old warrant officers way back. Top Webb was my other one. 2 warrant officers. Lake Cookie, you remember Top Webb? A big dark green Marine, big dude in the battalion S shop somewhere. He's a grumpy old man. I don't know what he did. I don't know what his job was, but that was Top Webb. You didn't mess with him. I know that. Producer says, I'm not even playing tonight. Wong, oh, we got some bands already? Clowns. I so want to, even still on some of the shorts, we get those trolls. And I've learned now, I'm a God-fearing man, so I pray for those people. I want to make fun of them. I really do. It takes all the discipline in my body to not, because they're obviously simple people who are mad at themselves and their life choices is why they want to take it out on somebody else. But I really, sometimes I want to dog them so bad. What was the one I had today? Oh, the Sergeant. If he's on here, can you just pronounce Sergeant right? It's not that hard. It's not Sergeant. And I think, did I reply to him? I think I said, yes, Sergeant. Did I reply? What's Wong? She's pretty funny. Producer's pretty funny. Pretty witty. I think she gets it from me. You're mad at your dad. Hey, Kimi. Who won the game last night? Who cares?
Name the movie, Doc. Name the movie.
Name the movie.
Tell Doc.
You're not mad at me. You're mad at your dad. All right, Doc, here we go. So I made you one more dark one. Ooh, I just saw a mosquito. How do you carry the legacy of Marines who didn't make it home? Yep, that is dark, Doc. And here's how. Transparency and communication with that family. And man, you make me feel bad. Our first real good friend of ours, Gunnery Sergeant, made it home. He even told his wife, he promised his wife, I'm going to make it home. I will be home. Right? A promise you don't make, something you don't say, because you can't promise that. I promise you I'll be back. And he did, and he got an IED. He got hit with an IED. He was unconscious, but hadn't expired yet. I'm trying to use the right words. And he made it home. He made it home, and of course we're all communicating with him. His wife would put it on speakerphone, and he couldn't communicate back. She knows, we know to this day he heard us, and we just kept on and kept on and kept communicating. They named a chow hall after him in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. But again, he eventually expired. And I'm embarrassed to say I haven't heard from their family or any of those friends in a while. So that would be a way you should carry on that legacy. I don't know if y'all seen it more recent. From my second to last deployment, we lost 2 Marines. And the last time we were in Hawaii at the Iwo Jima Memorial on Kaneohe Bay, we visit the bricks. They have bricks there outside right inside the base as you go in that small, the Vegas version of the Iwo Jima Memorial. They have bricks and we visited. And I did a video. The producer filmed me cleaning the bricks off, pulling the weeds around it. So that's how. Never forgetting, I guess, Doc would be a good way to put it. And again, with today's technology, you should keep in contact with them. But that's how. You never forget. You remember them on Memorial Day, the Marine Corps birthday, their expiration date, right? Their last mission. You remember those things, never forget, and know that they would want you to continue on, right? Keep fighting. Great question, Doc. All right. Cave diver. Last thing they want is for y'all to waste your blessed time on Earth, not living. There's something flying around over here, by the way. It's looking for you. Gunny East, what's happening, brother? Anyone see the Warfare movie yet? I saw the trailer for it. Of course, it is one that I want to see, but is it out? Has anyone seen it? If you did, let us know. Give us a preview. You see it?
No, did it by chance?
No. Watch Dogs, The Beast. Thank you for your service. Now I can keep enjoying my First Amendment Constitution. Amen, brother. That's what it's all about. So, Major, best and worst USMC film TV show.
Oh, look at Goldman's here.
Goldman? Where? Hoorah, Sergeant Major Goldman here. I finally got my federal firearms license. FFL, good. I want to buy some stuff from you. A long process. Goldman, good to see you, brother. Congratulations on your FFL. Let's connect. I want some more guns. Awesome. Good on you. And good to see you. Those of you who don't know Goldman, and I go way back. Goldman, right? Boot camp days. Oh, what was that? I wanted to hit that as a comment. I started to. Producer 23, a day too tough. Fight not over, when we're home. Stay in touch. Hurrah. Hot Rod, check it out. Hot Rod, Semper Fi, brother. Again, thanks for Sunday. It will be posted. When is it going to be posted, producer?
No later than Friday.
No later than Friday. So he's working on that Hot Rod. That was amazing. Those of you who weren't there last Sunday, we had our a podcast style interview / talking story with Gunnery Sergeant. You see it? Rodriguez Chavez, Navy Cross recipient. Just a great dude all around, warrior breed. It'll be posted Friday. Please check it out once it is posted. The producer's doing some YouTube requirements to it before it gets posted. But yes, get some Hot Rod. Thanks, brother. We'll be in contact. Can you say that for me? Siempre fiel. Working on my Spanish, senors and senoritas. Thanks, Hot Rod. Good to see you. Doc, what was that last one? Did I start to answer a question? Did we start to discuss something before I saw Goldman come up? Let me know. I was the first recruit to stay at MCRD San Diego 11 months or longer. Been embracing the suck ever since. So Goldman, everyone, just so you know, if you know, you know. We've chatted a few times on LinkedIn, right? We found each other on LinkedIn. I don't remember how, Goldman, if you remember. He was a turd I had in boot camp. graduated him. Quick and funny story. I'll try and keep it short, but it's pretty amazing. Goldman made me
Recruit wrong.
look good. He what?
You said recruit wrong. You said turd.
Oh, I said recruit wrong. I said turd. So Goldman, hold Doc's question, please. I received Goldman in third phase. I was a senior drill instructor by then, one of my last probably cycles. Goldman had been a recruit training and helped me if I get the, it was LinkedIn, if I get the story right. He went to boot camp overweight, right? He was a fat body, a red striper. So we went to, so we went to PCP, the pork chop platoon, or physical conditioning platoon. Lost weight, sent to a training company. Broken ankle. I think maybe broke his left ankle, so got sent to MRP, medical rehab platoon. Right, so no PCP. Oh, my bad. MRP, broke leg and ankle. No PCP. Are you sure? All right. And
I think you're thinking of Brian.
it's been a while. So MRP, broke his leg, broke his left leg, ankle. Got cycled twice to MRP. So MRP, again, medical rehab platoon, you stay there until you're fully healed. Then you get sent back to your training company. No PCP. All right, I got it. No, you weren't a fat body. So 2 times in MRP, that will set you back months. It clearly set him back. So when you came to me, you had been to MRP twice, and then I got you. Did all the battalions at MCRD, went through every battalion at MCRD, and then I got him with, he had been on MCRD, I'm guessing 11 months already, 10 or 11 months. At MCRD San Diego, 11 months as a recruit. Kilo, MRP, Fox, MRP, then Bravo, the big red one. Took care of him. As soon as you came in, I was like, heck yes, you've been here forever, you're going to be the guide. That didn't work out. He had been there too long to be the guy. He knew too much. So you became our, what do we call, admin recruit, right? Had you in the duty hut. He was doing training schedules, T-cars, is that what they call it, right? He knew more about the SOP than us as drone instructors did, especially my new hats. Remember, I had you come in the duty hut. You didn't sit behind my desk. You were doing stuff. He'd hand me a form, say, this is due tomorrow. Like, I know what's due tomorrow. Don't tell me what I'm the drone instructor, you're a recruit. Completely, maybe it was my first cycle as a senior, because he helped me out. Time of grade, time of service, Lance Corporal when he walked across the parade deck. And here, here's the kicker. I got all the credit for it. They're like, oh my God, drone instructor, great job. This soon-to-be Marine has been in MCRD for 11 months, and how'd you do it? Oh, well, you know, sir, it really takes a real good team of drone instructors. Man, Goldman made our life easier. The Jays didn't like it because I was treated Goldman better than I treated my green belts because he had the knowledge. So it was an interesting piece. They wanted to kill him, and I wanted to protect him. But it was a team effort, Goldman. Still, I can say that now. But they did. They're like, this drill instructor brought this kid. He's been down here forever, and try to push it all back on Goldman.
So legendary. I knew about him before you guys even reconnected. I remember the story.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna tell you, I would tell this story because just the pure motivation, Goldman, for you to stay down there that long and endure that. Yeah, you had probably some special privileges. People treated you a little different, but at the end of the day, you're still a recruit. Had to put up with the BS of recruits, not just for 3 months, but for 11 months. Pretty amazing, the intestinal fortitude that you put up with through all that time. So good on you. And look at you now. They did. They nicknamed me the Grand Old Man of MCRD. Awesome. Good to see you. Played lots of games, right? He knows more games. I'm telling you, you probably can pick out the new drill instructors right away, which ones were boots, new hats, didn't know what they were doing. He so pretty funny. He had to have a sense of humor after being down there that long. So it was good. Good on you, brother. I'm glad you're here. And again, I do want to get some rifles, so definitely connect. In fact, shoot me an email. How do they get the email? Through the link? Yes, how do they email us? SFMF.com at gmail.com. SFMF.com at gmail.com. Maybe she'll put it up on the screen. All right, USMC vet. The cap is both, then you're an eagle, colonel flying through the ranks, then you're a general, the star. You're on a different level right now, USMC vet. Thanks for props. Good to see you too on the YouTube live. Sunday, we're on. You've been away for a little while, but every Sunday and every other Wednesday. This is that other Wednesday. So every Sunday though. And next Sunday is Easter Sunday. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, we don't expect everyone to show up, but
Yeah.
not if there's nothing else going on.
If you can stop by Sunday, it is Easter Sunday, especially if you have, it should be an all day of church. We're still same time, 1800 Central, Sunday night. Sunday's 1800. We've been doing this for a year. Sunday's 1800, Wednesday's 1900. We will be, try and stop by Sunday, all y'all. Easter Sunday. Oh, you asked me about movies and TV shows. Doc says, one powerful song to blast while stepping in the Corps as a combat engineer. Indestructible by Disturbed. Indestructible by Disturbed. I'm gonna have to check that out. Was it you, Doc, also that asked about movies? Still, I'm an old school. I know there's been a lot since this one has come out, but Few Good Men is still an all-time favorite about the brotherhood of being a Marine. There's no combat in it if you haven't seen it, but it is the loyalty and the brotherhood and the fanatical spirit of Marines. It really shows in that movie. I like that. And of course, Full Metal Jacket, the boot camp scene, I still think to this day is one of the most accurate boot camp scenes or sections. And then the second half is Vietnam. I was never in Vietnam, but I think that's pretty solid accuracy as well. So those two movies. And then outside of the military, which it still really is, I'm a big fan of 300. 300 and Braveheart, my two old school combat type movies, because that's a old school warrior type and still the same tactics used today, just without today's technology. So I love them all. I've seen some of the newer ones. Again, it's a little harder now for me to watch the newer ones. Are they accurate? Do they, the whole, how they add Hollywood into it, right, to sell tickets. I do have a trouble with that, personal. Charlie Dent says, no movie can capture the real intensity of drill instructors, not even Full Metal Jacket, which clearly remains the best cinematic depiction. There's nothing entertaining about MCRD. Great point, Charlie Dent. And that's just it. I think that one is probably the closest. But if your Boys in Company C is good, without stepping on the yellow footprints, again, Full Metal Jacket is pretty darn accurate. Great Santini is great. Act of Valor, great movie. The Rock, 1996. Heartbreak Ridge, Jarhead. Pick one. Jarhead, I did a short on Jarhead, right? Got a lot of hate on that movie. Desert Storm. That was a Desert Storm era movie. Jake Gyllenhaal. And that one's accurate too, in my opinion. Having been to Desert Storm, there wasn't a whole lot of fluff in that movie. They didn't add a bunch of cinematic genius to it to sell tickets. I think they kept it pretty realistic, which made it boring for your average viewer. And the casting wasn't that great. The acting wasn't that great, but it was pretty accurate, in my opinion. But it didn't get a whole lot of positive reviews. Look, there's a quote from The Rock. I take pleasure in gutting you, boy. We love The Rock. That's a great movie. I cannot give that order. Right? That's where the Marines wiped out a whole platoon of Navy SEALs. Maybe the SEALs probably don't like that one too much. Charlie Dent says, Heartbreak Ridge was shunned by the brass, historically inaccurate, to say nothing of the fictionizing, preposterous treatment of a Medal of Honor recipient Clinton should have walked. Yeah, I saw Heartbreak Ridge when it first came out, and the recon kicks butt type of stuff. I didn't understand that part of it, but I hear you. And how he treated the lieutenant even, and yes, how a Medal of Honor recipient was treated by some weak officers. Yeah, I get it. I can see that. Rules of Engagement. It was a good film. I agree with that. So there are a lot. Gunny Hartman could have been my DI in 91. That's what it was back then. That's the way boot camp used to be. And, you know, again, today's Marines, I'll flip it. Old Marines like Jared, and back when I was in, they used to beat the crap out of us every single day. The rules, the SOP hasn't changed in recruit training in decades. The difference, however, is even when I was from the time I was a recruit to a drill instructor, same SOP. But our drill instructors did some things that I didn't do as a drill instructor because of time. Passes on. Society changes. Rules don't change, just the acceptance of those rules, or the bending of those rules, if you will, change. So you can imagine the 80s to today, how much change has gone through. Not the SOP, right? Still 4 things you can call a recruit, 4 times you can touch a recruit. All those rules are still the same: to correct his position, to correct his uniform, to save him from bodily injury or harm. Those haven't changed. The 4 things you can call a recruit: recruit by his billet, by his rank, or recruit, right? That hasn't changed. But anyone ever called something other than recruit or guide or squad leader? Of course. I remember the first time one of my green belts got fired is because he said a swear word. Do drill instructors curse? Yes, 24/7. But just the acceptance of some things by different leadership changes over time. All right. Sergeant Henry, the Samoan DI, would still snatch a recruit with his 30-inch arms. Again, all depends on your leadership, your chain of command, what deck you're on in boot camp. Right? Bet you didn't know that. They put you on whatever deck according to how much they trusted you or needed to watch you. I was on the 3rd deck as a drill instructor. One cycle, we had an all-sergeant platoon. I was the senior. So we were young sergeants, motivated. They ended up moving us to the 1st deck, and I spent the rest of my time as a drill instructor on the 1st deck, because you can see in the windows there, and they can keep a better eye on you on the 1st deck. They put the old crusty staff NCOs on the 3rd deck, because those guys are old and they can't do much. But the young, hard-charging sergeant teams always ended up on the 1st deck. K-Dog said, we had a drill instructor that would say, give me a couple of ding-dongs. Moving ding-dong, moving DS. Jerry, even when we had our interviews with our CO in boot camp, I lied when he asked if I was abused physically or mentally. No way was I going to tattle on my DIs. So funny, Jared, I just heard, there was just heard a story of a DI getting relieved because of the loyalty speech. So if you know, you know, in boot camp, there is a time that you sit down and do, we just call them series commander surveys, right? And they ask you questions. How do you like boot camp? What would you change about it? Was it as tough as you thought it'd be? Some general questions, easy to answer. Would you do it again? And trying to get you in the mode of just opening up. Then questions would be like, when the drone instructor cursed, how did it make you feel? When the drone instructor grabbed you by the collar, trying to trick you into diming out your drone instructor. No, every time he punched me in the face, I didn't mind at all, and I probably deserved it. They're looking for answers like that. So you kind of schooled on, hey, be careful of your answers and know who's going to read these, called a loyalty speech. And I think, I don't want to quote anything that I don't know directly, but I think a drone instructor just got in trouble. Like, you better not say anything when you feel like you don't do it like that. You train your recruits to be Marines. And as long as you're doing that, if there's training value behind what you're doing, you're good to go. You don't have anything to worry about. If there's training value, if this is going to help whatever you're getting ready to do, and it could be thrash the crap out of them. If what you're getting ready to do to them is going to make them a better Marine one day, you're good to go. This guy obviously wasn't doing things like that because he had to threaten them to not tattletale. Now, are they going to get physical with you? Is it tough? Is there going to be some times you're scared to living bejesus out of you? Yes. That's Marine Corps boot camp. But he got in trouble for saying, you better not say anything that happened in here, and those doors closed and whatever. All right. Charlie Dent, Sergeant Major. On Black Friday, are drone instructors under stress too? What goes through the DI's mind on pickup day? Black Friday, for those of you that don't know, that is the day that the receiving barracks drops your platoon to you. All right, that's they just spent a week in receiving, going around getting their shots, doing all the admin, the paperwork, making sure your platoon is set. Once you got all 89 recruits, everything is 100%. You probably had to pull a couple out for whatever reason. Then the receiving barracks drone instructors mobs your platoon over there. They sit in the classroom. Right hand, right knee, left hand, left knee, head and eyeball straight to the front. They're paying attention to. That's when they meet their drone instructors for the first time. That's called Black Friday. It's on a Friday. The senior drone instructor comes out, gives the senior drone instructor speech that has been rehearsed and read, and practice it verbatim, what you're supposed to say. I'm your senior drone instructor. I'm assisting in my duties. Bye. The drone instructors come out. Boom, boom, boom. We cannot help you in training to become a United States Marine unless you're willing to give your very best. That is a rehearsed speech that has to be given verbatim. Behind all the recruits is the chain of command. First sergeant, series guns, platoon commanders, or series commanders, company commander, other DIs that just want to watch you and make you nervous. So yes, you're under that kind of stress from the get-go. Are you doing it right? Right? Are you saying everything you're supposed to say? How's it going to happen? Yes, stress. As soon as that speech is over, the chain of command leaves. Depending on where you are, what coast, San Diego. As soon as that happens, the senior drone instructor goes inside the duty hut and starts doing senior drone instructor stuff. Checking the rosters, adding them in, recruit jackets and recruit stuff. While the green belts unleash the dogs. Right, because the very last thing you say to your drone instructors is, drone instructors, take charge of these recruits and train them to become United States Marines. Drone instructor will say, aye, aye, drone instructor. Senior drone instructor, he takes off. All hell breaks loose. That is Black Friday. Get a boot, get online. Get your mattress, get online. Get a footlocker, get online. Back and forth, back and forth. That's the breakdown of welcome to MCRD. It's about to get real. And it's chaos. And a lot of things happen in the heat of the moment. In the summer, drone instructors, you're sweating through 3 sets of Charlie uniform. You have another shirt already set up with ribbons and your shirt stays, and as you're thrashing, you disappear, change your shirt, and the recruits like, they don't know what the hell's going on. It's chaos. That is that welcome aboard. Time to get busy. And it's not easy. As fun as it may look, you've seen videos, I'm sure, by now. I've never seen a Black Friday video, but it is a shark attack, and it is that culture shock of you are not at home anymore. You're not even in receiving barracks anymore, where you're kind of just mobbing around doing what you're told. You are being indoctrinated into the love of Corps and country, and it's about teamwork. That's when the eyes stop. This recruit, that recruit. A very necessary start to recruit training. And depending on how they react, how fast they are, your team, your senior drill instructor, what is that day, by the end of the night, they're cleaned up, ready to go, and you start training. T-Day 1. Pretty intense. So I don't even remember what the question was. Oh, is it stressful for the DIs as well? Yes, it's intense because you're screaming and yelling for 10 hours. And then it begins. For the drill instructor, that's when your sore feet begin, blisters, your headache, the recruit crud. We haven't talked about that ever. You got 89 kids from 89 different walks of life. They got different hygiene habits. They're nasty. They're sick. They're in a different environment. They're eating food that they've never eaten before. The drill instructors get sick. You start preparing for pickup day as a DI about at least a week out. You better start taking vitamin C. You got honey and lemon in the duty hut to clear your throat. Your head is pounding. Taking Tylenol and Motrin and changing your socks. Hello, doc. You're doing all those things because it's as intense for the drill instructor as it is for the recruits. And you're on lights to lights. You're there before the lights come on in the morning. You're there and even after the lights go out, hour on deck, walking around. You have the recruits that want to run, the ones that are crying, the ones that are SA, attempting to do some weird stuff because they're in that culture shock. So yes, the first weeks, depends on how good your team is, will depend on how long you stay on lights. If you're a new drill instructor, you're on lights at least the first cycle, at least the first phase and second phase you go up north, or whatever. Again, depends on your team and your senior drill instructor. I used to try to take care of my green belts as much as I could. Give them some time off, but a time off for a drill instructor is, hey, go ahead, drill instructor, sit in the duty hut for a while, I got him. And you fall asleep as instantly as you hit a chair or hit the rack, you're out for a good 15 minutes. That's a lifetime as a drill instructor to take a nap. And then boom, get up, get back out, you're done. So it is truly an intense, physically intense experience for the drill instructors as well. All right, hope I answered that question. Is it as stressful for the DI on Black Friday and again, the first couple of weeks? Yes, right? Summer months, they're bigger, so you're getting bigger platoons. And these are fresh, mostly kids straight out of high school. Right, especially that June cycle, June, July, and August, right out of high school. Winter months, a little bit different, smaller platoons. You got some kids who've been out of high school for a while, haven't decided late, or just some late shippers for whatever reason, but smaller platoons. I always like the big platoons for some reason. All right, Lights Out Marines, East Coast, ragtime, PHW. Bryce, what do you recommend for a new motor T mech when hitting the fleet? You got to get after it. You have to make sure your truck is up 24/7 because those Marines need a ride. And be there on time. Pick them up the right spot. As most comfortable as a ride as you possibly can give them. All right, Randall Knapp. God bless everyone. I feel the same. We are going to land this helicopter. A great show. Appreciate you all. We'll see you Sunday. Easter Sunday. Don't forget about Good Friday. Spend some time with Jesus on that day, and we'll see you Sunday. Semper Fi, my